So I made a decision. We're going to finish the project from this weekend. I was contacted by my buddy down in Provo, Utah at Pro Audio 4x4, Colton, and he's the one that I initially made the Bronco grill plates for. If you haven't seen that video, go back and look. You'll come across them. But basically, you take the factory grill, it unclips out of the dash, and I provide these pieces that are laser cut to allow you to mount this and sandwich the factory grill basically, so it'll all snap back in. He wanted to see if I could do something similar to a Jeep JL dash. This is designed to hold just a regular 3.5. After going back and forth, and I vectorized this, realized how much actual space I had because there's clips on the back in odd spots. I had to come up with kind of another idea based on the drivers he wanted to use, and what we came up with is basically I will be bonding some 1/8 inch 3mm to some 0.75mm, the really thin stuff. Then I have to, after I bond it, need to go through and tap all these holes. 2, 3, 4, 5. And the idea is that this will sit in the grill opening, or the mesh part of the factory grill. You can see it's pretty damn close to being centered around the hole of the factory opening there. Factory grill has a curve to it. So you'll have a template as well for all the holes. He'll lay the template on top of the grill, drill those holes out, mark that hole, cut that hole out. What he wanted to do is he wanted to come up with a spot for a tweeter. I wanted to try to get it like the Bronco package where it was all on the same thing, but there's just not enough area here to do that. And I wanted to make sure that when he bonds these and molds them together, that doesn't have a steep drop off. So that's why it's inset into this spot. He'll be able to pull and get it to mold really nicely. After that is done, so these two pieces are bonded, tap those holes, then I will put magnets in here, then this piece gets bonded over top of the magnets. So we end up with basically one solid piece here like that with the magnets hidden. Then we'll bond on a little trim ring that sits there to allow for the grill. He mentioned he liked how the tweeter fired across the dash in the older style Jeeps, and if you're familiar with those, it was a little pod. It kind of looked like this, and it just sat up there and the tweeter was snapped in. He liked that idea, so it's 3 pieces bonded together, will end up sitting in here, and then the grill is the fun part. The grill is done. So he wanted just a cool grill, and he wanted that logo in it, but he also wanted to light it up. So in order to do that, I actually went out and sourced the paint to match the OEM grill, because I had to paint it first before I could engrave it. So once I painted it, and this is basically made up of a layer of 1.5mm acrylic, another piece of 1.5mm acrylic, and a piece of the 0.75, the really thin stuff. So there is thinner magnets embedded into the lower piece of the 1.5mm acrylic. That leaves this one totally clear of any magnets. Then you'll notice on the back, I actually cut out with a slight offset around the logo. I took it outside, I painted it gray. So then I put it back in the laser, that one and this one. So there's left and right. Did the engrave on this, wiped that clean. Then I actually just flipped them and I engraved the back there as well to get off any of the paint residue. But you can't see through that, but it's a frosted acrylic, so it should glow. So then this grill will magnetize down in there like that, and he'll have this piece for the tweeter to fire across. Whole idea here is he will take the grill, set it aside, and then he will be able to take his material and glue it all along the edges here and pull it tight across that way, all along the outside edge here, and then pull all of that back. Tuck it to the corners, glue it to the corners, all that stuff, and then glass it and do some filler work and sanding and stuff like that, and he'll be able to paint it. I have 2 extra cans of the paint that I used on the grill, so he'll get those as well. So everything will match up, and then these should snap back in. These do not mount speakers. All this is doing, other than the tweeter, all this is doing is opening up the pathway for the OEM location for the 3, and then giving him a tweeter spot. So we'll get this assembled, and we'll see how it all turns out. Like all of my projects, we start out with some WeldOn number 4, my syringe and tip. We load some of this up, remove the excess air, and then we line these suckers up. Now I will take off to the garage really quick, and I will tap some holes. in the back. All my holes are tapped. So we can continue with, set this one aside, magnets. And then those are basically done. He will then take it, like I was saying before, once he has this attached, basically have that. And then he'll be able to stretch his grill cloth around this, smooth it out. It'll resemble a Jeep because of this coming from the previous years. And don't know if anybody noticed or not. No, I set my other grills over there, but the grill itself that I made follows the iconic Jeep actual grill in the front of the vehicle. And it also allows plenty enough opening for the speaker to play through, nice and loud. So fun little project. I'm gonna get the other one finished up and we'll get these delivered to him.